Sports Choice Plus. I'm bringing you a very special live stream video. I'm going to be covering some of the topics that'll be talked through on Instagram and on Facebook. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I want to welcome you to Sports Choice Plus live stream. It's a place where you talk about sports, where you can get your debates in, you could talk. Your voice can be heard here on the platform. And let's get right into it. The Indianapolis Colts go into this draft, and you're looking at the Indianapolis Colts going into this draft, thinking to yourself, essentially, what is the biggest dire need, and how can the Colts get this job done? From the standpoint, they're picking at number 4 behind the Arizona Cardinals, behind the Houston Texans, and also behind the Carolina Panthers by way of the trade with the Bears. So you're looking essentially at this trade could change the trajectory of their future for the next 10 years. This potential move up or sitting still could possibly have ramifications to where quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, and then they're stuck with either Will Levis or another guy. It's so much that the Colts have put on the back burner for so long. The Colts have lacked a development at the quarterback position for so many years. When you look at the likes of Carson Wentz, when you look at the likes of Matt Ryan, when you look at the likes of Phillip Rivers, they've had stopgap, stopgap, stopgap. They were spoiled to have Andrew Luck. They were spoiled to have Peyton Manning. That no matter what went on, those guys still held it together. Those guys managed to make it to the playoffs. Those guys managed to get the job done. And you're thinking essentially, what is the key for these guys to have success? What is stopping the Colts offense, defense? What is stopping the coaching staff? Because you got to think, they fired a coaching staff. This is not the first coaching staff. They fired another coaching staff. So now that they have a new set of coaches, a new set of people at the helm, it's time for the Colts to figure out what they need to do. They need to win this draft. When you're looking at possibly moving up, the Arizona Cardinals hold the keys to the 3rd spot. So much talk has been about Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. So much talk has been about, they're going to do this, that. So either way it goes, you're in a prime position if you're the Arizona Cardinals to control the rest of the draft. Because you can either make a trade. You can either trade back one spot to the Colts. You can do a number of things. But the opportunity for the Colts to move up one spot may be costly for them. But how costly is it if you get the guy that's essentially going to control your future for 10 plus years? The Houston Texans have to get this right as well. Because if the Houston Texans pass on a quarterback and that quarterback slides to number 4, let's just say they don't take a quarterback with number 2, and CJ Stroud somehow makes it to number 4. Can you imagine if the Colts have a quarterback that kicked the Houston Texans' ass for the next 10 years because they didn't take him? I know that the Colts have fell in love with quite a few guys during this process as far as the draft. But from the quarterback standpoint, could Richardson be the guy? All signs lead to the Colts needing to really put a lot into this actual draft. All signs lead to the Colts needing to do their homework on every single guy before they bring them in. And you have to make sure you're making the right pick. Get your guy. If this draft is not your guy for quarterbacks, then you need to see if you can get an Aaron Rodgers. You need to see if you can get somebody else in there and actually trade to another team to get a well-respected guy, or a Trey Lance, or somebody that's been there, done it, got a t-shirt for it, that's a good quarterback at the moment. So you got to think, Indianapolis, they're hungry for a quarterback. They're hungry to win again. And again, having a Peyton Manning, having an Andrew Luck, having a general in your back pocket, that's tough. Because a lot of times you just realize, like, hey, this is what this is. You don't just roll out of bed and win 10 games anymore. It's never been that way in the NFL. Once you get a taste of Super Bowl success, once you get a taste of winning consistently, it becomes like almost like a drug. It becomes an addiction. Like, you want to win, you want to get there. So the Colts have to do what they have to do to make sure this is doing. The Indianapolis Colts are in a position where they can not only make it big, but they can make it big in this draft and not have to spend a lot of capital to do it. Potential, if you like Richardson in this draft, you need to go all out for Richardson. If you like essentially Stroud, if you like, because after that first pick, you can't do anything for Carolina. You can't trade anything for Carolina. Carolina has the first pick. So you essentially have to make sure that everything, all your ducks are in a row, all your eggs are in the basket, and you can boom, move and do what you have to do. That offensive line, you have some pretty good offensive linemen. The defensive line, you have pretty good defensive linemen. You have a couple of good corners. But the Colts have to hit the iron while the iron's hot in this draft. Because then what happens? This is going to continuously carry on and carry on and carry on. You're going to continue to go through head coaches, continue to go through O coordinators, continue to go through running backs. Think about this. You have one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's not effective at this moment because your quarterback position. Having not made the playoffs and having had one of the biggest meltdowns a year ago with Carson Wentz being on the doorstep of the playoffs and then having a terrible season under Matt Ryan, that should show you, that should teach you that this is what this needs to be. You need a quarterback. You need to invest in a quarterback, go all in on a guy, make sure that he's your guy, make sure he has the best quarterback coach, make sure he has the best O coordinator, make sure you're scheming to his strengths. That's what the Colts need to do. No more stopgaps. No more, we're going to spend $10 million on a backup just to be somebody that just holds the clipboard that never gets in. Go get you a bridge quarterback, but also have that young guy developing. Have it to where he doesn't have to just leap and save the franchise in his first year. I know it's going to hurt. I know you're going to take your lumps. But the Colts are in win now mode. Get somebody that's either ready to play now or somebody that's ready to be built. So this team can thrive. It's nothing like winning a division year after year after year, and all of a sudden the rug gets pulled up under your legs. Because now all of a sudden it's you. It's you. So the Colts have a lot of different decisions to make. They have a lot of different choices to make. So you got to think, not only after this quarterback pick, you have to round out the rest of your draft. You have to pick a couple of offensive linemen up. You also have to look at the safety position. You could add a linebacker or two. Irsay, as the owner, has to make some choices. After the draft, get active in free agency. If I'm him, I'm trying to get DeAndre Hopkins. I'm trying to get veterans that are in there that know what they want, that know how to play the game of football, that can be professionals, that can help a young quarterback out. What quarterback that's young would not like a D-Hop? He's already come out and said he doesn't want to raise. So the best thing for this whole situation, I think the Colts need to get it right in this draft. Get your best people in there, get your best picks in there, and build this franchise back up. Because ultimately, that's what it's going to do. Ultimately, that's what it's going to be. So, all you sports fans, get in the comment section. Make sure y'all chime in. Uh, Basically, the Colts, they have to get it right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. The Colts have to get this right. But definitely check out Sports Choice Plus on the YouTube platform. The Instagram is loading. That's being put together right now. But we thank you. Thank you so very much for supporting. And we'll